is that, and I think people do know this primarily, but a lot of people still deny it, is that the abortion industry is a profit-driven industry, period. It's a money-driven industry. It's an industry that sells abortion. People don't like to hear that, but they are, these Planned Parenthood clinics and abortion clinics are giving out quotas for the amount of abortions that have to be sold to women coming in to those clinics. So, you become a salesperson for the product that they're selling, and that's abortion. And, for me, kind of seeing that corruption, seeing the malpractice, and then ultimately seeing a 13-week-old baby on an ultrasound screen fighting for its life during an abortion, that's what caused me to wake up and say, I've got to get out of here. I've been part of the problem, and now I want to be part of the solution.
What do you make of the abortion seller, the abortion used car salesman, lady that came out in New Jersey and taped her abortion and said, "Ooh, it's sweet. I'm keeping a picture. It's so loving. I love my baby." It's the most sick, demonic poetry I've ever heard out of the mouth of, in my opinion, an actual demon. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen it. I sent Emily Letts a personal letter, actually. I sent it certified, so I know she got it. But, I think we're living in a time where, just the scripture says, good will be called evil and evil will be called good. And, we've got a wave of women out there who call themselves liberated. They call themselves feminists. What they don't understand is that they're actually being used and objectified by the abortion industry for profit. And that's exactly what happened to that young woman, Emily Letts, is that she doesn't realize how she's being manipulated, but she's also part of their sales technique. And so, those are the people really that we're trying to reach to help them understand, like, you are making this problem even bigger by saying, I'm a woman and I'm for women's rights, and that's why I support abortion. Any woman who's worth her salt or, really has really thinks about this, critical thinking, about the abortion issue would know that women are just being used. We're being used in this game that the abortion industry is playing. And, we've got Cecile Richards from Planned Parenthood, telling us that this is a women's rights issue. And, it's just, it's a big political ploy. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't seem to be smart enough to see that for what it is and to get out of it.
Well, I totally agree with you looking in from the outside, but brief folks on what's really going on out there. And, of course, the tapes have come out all over the country where people say, I want to give money to kill blacks. And they're like, absolutely. Where Planned Parenthood came from. It's like the Democratic Party was founded the Klan. Now they say the NRA is the Klan. When it was founded to fight the Klan, they invert everything. And it just goes on and on and on. And they have these fundraisers in Austin, and I see them around the country, for, come give money to Planned Parenthood, these big galas, when Planned Parenthood has just got billions of dollars, Warren Buffett funding it, Bill and Melinda Gates funding it, the Queen of England meeting about, how do we kill these poor people, Prince Charles, Prince Philip. And then you can look at the public and say, well, there are too many poor people, let's kill them. This attitude, now we're saying old people aren't worth anything, or babies up to age 3 should be killed, or let's kill Down syndrome kids. We know where this eugenics thing goes. It goes to Hitler and beyond. And so I want you to speak to, to women out there that have had abortions, because what I know is they double down. Once you've been involved in abortions, or once you've had girlfriends that have had them, or, whatever, even if you didn't like it or approve of it, you got drug along, we're going to skip the break, guys. You will want to rationalize and do whatever you can. It's kind of like you demonize a country you want to invade and attack, or you demonize somebody before you rob them, or you make an excuse for why, what you're doing, you're doing. And for me, that's what has to be assaulted. We have to strike at the root of this and say, listen, why do so many abortionists call babies ugly black babies? Why do they say nobody wants these Mexican babies? Let's kill them. And then that's on the news. I mean, I've always heard that mantra from abortion people. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. I mean, and looking back, I'm like, God, I was like such an idiot for falling for all this kind of stuff. But like, you know, looking back, I mean, you hear, well, we're helping poverty by killing people. I mean, we're helping poverty by killing people who could potentially be in poverty. Really, that's the solution. That's the best solution that we have in the United States of America, is to kill people. I don't know. I just think that so many women have been duped into this lie, you know, made to believe that abortion is liberating, that it's empowering. And, you know, for some women, we do see that they stand by that. But, I mean, honestly, I'm a woman that's had 2 abortions, that regrets those 2 abortions and speaks out publicly about them. But there's nothing liberating about taking the life of your own unborn child. There's nothing human about it, really. And there's nothing civilized, and so, you know, but I just think it's just been a nice tactic that's been used and waved in front of women's faces as a way to ultimately control us and enslave us into this culture of death. And, you know, Alveda, I know it's going to be on later, and she can talk more, you know, about the kind of the roots of Planned Parenthood and how it was founded and everything. I mean, even now, we look at where Planned Parenthood clinics are located, and 79% of them are located in what is considered super minority areas. They know their target. They know that they're going after those who are impoverished. And if you look at the foundings of Planned Parenthood through Margaret Sanger, who actively worked with Hitler, and you see that, you know, her goal was to, and she said it very clearly in her writings, her goal was to eliminate the minority population, calling them human weeds that needed to be exterminated from a human garden, saying that, you know, the most merciful thing a large family can do to one of its infant members is to kill it. And this is their founder. And it's not just that, you know, okay, like, Hitler had ties to the founding of Volkswagen, right? Okay, but if Volkswagen was giving out an award every year in Hitler's name, it would be blown. Nobody would buy Volkswagen anymore. It'd be crazy, right? But Planned Parenthood continues to celebrate their racist roots by giving out their top honored awards in the name of Margaret Sanger every year. People, they just don't understand what they're supporting when they're supporting Planned Parenthood. They're not supporting women's rights. They're not supporting women's health care. They're not supporting health care in general. They're supporting the killing of our unborn children, and they're supporting the enslavement of women across our country.
I've actually had journalists, mainly female journalists, in my office repeatedly say, so you really don't like Margaret Sanger or admire her, and they actually shake their heads. She's been Time Magazine Woman of the Year since she died, and this is a woman who had basically love letters back and forth with Hitler, got awards from Hitler. She gave awards to Hitler, and the issue is it's not like it's some new organization. And I get called racist by the controlled media because I don't want totally open borders with poor people that are put on welfare to be abortion voters, basically. I mean, and that's what it is. That's the demographics. The Democrats admit that. I'm not even a Republican, but the Democrats are trying to take over with abortion, guns, all of it. They want to force their will on us, and they're going to bring in a pliant population to do it. They absolutely hate those Latin Americans. They're giving them Gardasil shots down there forced under IMF and World Bank agreements that have been linked to sterilizing them. And, of course, it's come out that, indeed, that's what Gardasil does in many cases. So it's just so incredibly sick to see all this. What do you expect them to do now that polls have reversed from 1973 with over 65% for abortion in some of their stage polls to over 65 to 70% in a lot of polls I see, especially young people. As public opinion swings against it, what do you expect? How will the empire of Hitler and Margaret Sanger and John D. Rockefeller, that's who founded the whole deal, how will they strike back?
Well, I think, they are actively in our school system right now. Look, parents need to wise up. My kids aren't in public school because I don't want them there. I don't trust what they'd be taught. But there's for a lot of people, public school, they feel like that's the only option for their kids. Parents need to wake up. Planned Parenthood agenda starts in kindergarten. Their sex education program starts in kindergarten with your 5-year-old children, and that 5-year-old classroom involves showing them graphic sexual positions with stuffed animals. Parents need to wake up. You need to be involved in what's going on with your children's school. You need to be looking at who's coming in, giving these health presentations. And if they say, oh, it's just a health group that's coming in, ask questions, who is it? Because I would bet 99% of the time it's Planned Parenthood. They're going to start trying to go after a younger and younger demographic. Sarah Weddington, who was the lawyer in Roe v. Wade, who, pushed Roe v. Wade through, she just got up a few days ago and said, look, we don't have any young people in the pro-choice movement anymore. Everybody that's pro-choice now, they're menopausal. They're not even of fertility age anymore. And so they're going to start really trying to dig in to our school systems, to our colleges. We need to make pro-life warriors out of our kids so that when they are faced with this information from Planned Parenthood, because look, wherever vulnerable women are, so is Planned Parenthood. And there are hundreds of thousands of vulnerable young women and young children inside of our school systems, and that includes the university system. And so we as parents and grandparents need to do a better job of really teaching our children about the sanctity of human life from a scientific perspective as well as a religious perspective.
Well,
immediately shut down their argument.
Absolutely. Well, you know what B.F. Skinner and all the rest of them said they had to do with the Rockefeller Foundation. People can look all this up. I've read multiple books on the subject. It's a public fact. They went in and they said, we've got to promote promiscuity to break up the family so the state is the dad, and then we've got to basically use the poor people we can't exterminate as our new dumbed-down political dependent class, but then keep abortion going as well to control those numbers. So they went in and caused the epidemic of out-of-wedlock children. They created the crisis, and they offer the solution. It's so evil.
Look, if your listeners want to see something really just disgusting, they can go to my website, abbyjohnson.org. In the search bar, type in Yaffe Memo, Jaffe. It came directly from Planned Parenthood's vice president back in the 60s. It was a plan for how Planned Parenthood could destroy the family and increase the abortion numbers. This was back in the 60s, and now we see that plan coming to fruition right in front of our face. It's called the Yaffe Memo. It's public. It's on my website, Jaffe.
All right. And again, abbyjohnson.org. Briefly, tell folks about that memo. And then I want to invite you next week or whenever you like to come in and spend an hour in studio with us. You can send exhibits before you come, and we can have them up on the screen for the television viewers as well. Yeah,
we had a former worker from Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains, which is located at affiliate headquarters in Denver. That worker sent us an award, a picture of an award that was posted in the Aurora Health Center, Planned Parenthood Health Center, stating that they had won this award for increasing their abortion numbers from fiscal year 2012 to fiscal year 2013. And, for 5 years since being out of the industry, I've been talking about these abortion quotas. And look, our ministry has a huge new video that's going to be out on Monday. I would love to come in. I can send it to you. But it's going to prove once and for all that Planned Parenthood does have these quotas that they have to meet. And I really am interested to know how Planned Parenthood is going to respond.
This is huge. I want to get you in here next week. Looking at this memo, it's how to reduce U.S. population, how to break up families. It's all right there. Just incredible blueprints. And you can see it, folks. I mean, these people are our savage enemies. God bless you, ma'am. We're going to talk to our next guest.
We're on the march.